What is up, you guys? Welcome to another video. My name is Arman, Toronto-based deep and progressive house DJ and producer. And in the video I did on how to use the loop feature of the CDJ 2000 last week, I got a request on how to do hot cues. So here comes a video on how to use the hot cues on my CDJ 2000s. It's pretty much the same on the 2000 Nexus, I believe, as well. And we'll go through the technical aspects of how to set that up, and also some fun ideas on how to be able to incorporate these use of hot cues into your sets. If you guys have any other requests or suggestions for different videos, both in terms of technical DJing skills or the business of DJing, please ask in the comments below, and I'll do my best to make a video on that topic. I've been thinking of trying to do some Ableton production, music production tutorials in terms of the basics of how to get started in music production. Let me know again in the comments below if that's of interest to you guys. And if enough of you are interested in that, I will start off a series on Ableton. All right, let's go check out the hot cues. So a lot of people don't know that you can actually set multiple cue points on the CDJs, and you can navigate between them using these call arrows up at the top right here. So to set one of these, you press the cue button where you want it, and then you just press the memory button. You'll see the red font pop up on the screen on the left. I'm going to set a second one now. So I'll stop it right where I want it. Press the cue button, then press memory. And again, I've got now a second cue point with a little arrow on top of the waveform. You can see using the call buttons, I can navigate back and forth between them. But the problem with this is, as you can see, the music's playing, and I press next to go to the next one. It doesn't play automatically. I had to press the play button. You just can't see my hand at the bottom of the screen. So these aren't that useful. So I'm going to delete these. You just go to the one you want, and then you press the delete button, and these markers go away. So the hot cues are really the more useful way of doing this. I don't really know what that other cue area is supposed to offer. Let me zoom in here, and you can see the hot cues even better. So to set a hot cue, for example, say you don't want to wait through this whole introductory part of the beat, and you want to get more into the meat of the song right away. Find the first beat on that drop. There it is. And all you do is press the record button and then press A. And now it turns green when you press the record button again. And now it's a live, ready to play hot cue. Let's set a second one and assign it as B. This drop sounds a bit different than the first one, so let's go with this one here. Again, hit record, make them red, press B, it'll blink. Press record again, it'll go back to green. Now I can bounce back and forth between A and B as I choose. Okay, let's set a third cue point as hot cue C. I'll go for a snare so I can do some live drumming. Now you've got the snare, and you can use the kick and the snare to do a little bit of live drumming and remixing. Then you can jump back to A if you need to buy yourself more time. If you need more time to mix out the song, for example. And you can also use this to skip over certain sections of the song if you think they're too long, by just jumping ahead in the song. So if you don't want to have a breakdown, if you want to keep the energy level up, you could just assign a hot cue to just skip over it. Now, note here I'm in a new song, and I press A, and it jumps back to the old song I was just playing. You've got to be very careful of that. One annoyance with this feature on these CDJs is that when you go to a new song, it doesn't automatically wipe clean the hot cues, or give you even an option to delete them all. You've got to go back in and assign them. So now I've assigned A, but watch what happens when I press B. It goes back to B on the old song. So again, you've really got to be cautious with that and make sure you either remember it or you assign all three hot cues afresh in the new song, or else you could really get yourself in trouble. I'll show you now that you can recall the hot cues. I take my USB key out, put it back in again to show you that it saves the hot cues, which is really handy. And you can set them in Rekordbox in advance too, and then when you bring your USB key over here, it'll be the same thing. So go back to the same song, and I load it, and you can see there are my hotkey cues from before. I just hold down the recorder call button until they flash green, and now all my hotkey cues are there and pretty much ready to go. This one part I can't quite figure out. These things are flashing green and seem to want to be reconfirmed. Once you press them again, it'll start playing hot cue A, B, and then they stop flashing. So you might want to do that in your cue in your headphone first if you load in a new track, and you want to make sure you reconfirm all the same hot cues. So what can you do with these things? I'm not very good at scratching, as you can see, but you can mess around with backspins, scratches, and hit the hot cue at the end to get back into the groove. Forgive me, I don't scratch very often or ever. You can also add some filter and echo to create a little build where there isn't one in the song. This is kind of fun. And then you can hit the hot cue at the end to drop it back. Let me go. Set up another snare drum. Like I said before, you can use a kick and a snare together to do a little bit of live drumming type of remixes, which are fun. And these are pretty effective because the hot cues are actually, the buttons are actually quite sensitive. You can even do drum rolls on them if you hit them fast enough, which I'll try to show you here. There you go, little drum roll. So I will say this definitely takes practice. If you want to use the hot cues effectively for a live mashup of your songs, I think it is something you need to practice at home unless you're really, really good at this and have really fast reflexes and know your music library really well. But definitely a fun way to change up your mixing and inject a little bit of a live element. Have fun!